AH First and foremost, I'm gonna give all praise and authority to Yahweh by Hashem HaShah by Hashem Kakodash, the apostles, and the stone for giving us this truth, and blessed be to elect. This is by iDocs TV 1969 with the title 7 Badass Ancient People That You Probably Never Heard About. So I seen this video right here, right? Now I'm probably gonna play, for 2 to 3 minutes of this video. Okay, and then we're gonna get some scriptures. So without further ado, here's the video. Fair use, fair use.
But Flamo refused the wooden sword, opting instead to continue fighting. By the time he died at the age of 30, he'd already fought 34 battles. Number 2. Melanchomus of Caria. Melanchomus of Caria was an ancient boxer from the area now known as Turkey. He was known for evading the blows of his enemies and was never hit on the face, nor did he ever hit them. He eventually left his opponents so exhausted that they would give up and admit defeat. Melanchomus achieved his first Olympic victory in 45 AD, in the 206th Ancient Olympiad. Later on, he achieved numerous victories in other competitions. In his entire undefeated career as a champion Olympic boxer, Melanchomus never threw a punch.
So you seen that clip, right? That video about that guy. Now the reason why I'm doing this video because you see the comments, especially for that Greek boxer. It's crazy because even these people see similarities to a fighter with that style of fighting. Let's see if I can find the comments related to that guy. We're gonna find it. So the boxer dude was Floyd before Floyd. There's one comment. Let's see what else we can find. Because I know there's more. I'm gonna go to the newest. Let's see what we got. Cause this was 8 years ago. Milan was the first Mayweather. Let's see what else. Laughing out loud. Milan Comas, the most boring boxer in history. And who would they say nowadays when he was fighting? The same style of fighting today. He would not get hit in the face. So the pacifist Turkey boxer guy was like the modern day version of Floyd Mayweather. Except the refs were throwing the fights when he made his opponents quit. That is a true defeat of the mind. Floyd has won few of those. This guy must have been impressive to see his dodging skills. dodgeball champ. So here it is, that boxer guy, Milan Komas. Hey, the only similar fighter that you see that's being talked about that guy is no other but Floyd Money May. Okay? And when Floyd was fighting Eggman, he was known for his defense, man. Always put up a defensive masterclass, man, against his opponents. Okay? Let me see if I type in his record. Milan Komas of Saria held an legendary undefeated career with an unblemished record as an ancient Greek boxing champion, highlighted by his victory in the 207th Olympiad in 49 AD. So he was undefeated. Okay? And who has a 50-0 record in boxing? Floyd Money May. Let's see if I type this in. Matter of fact, let me see what ChatGPT got to say. What was known for? He was known for a defensive boxing style. Milan Komas reportedly avoided striking his opponents and focused on evading their blows. Ancient writers described him as winning by lasting longer than his opponents until they were exhausted. Exceptional stamina. And one thing about Floyd, he had amazing stamina. Exceptional stamina. Stories say he could maintain his defensive stance for extremely long periods, sometimes for an entire day, without being hit. And when it comes to hitting and not getting hit, what fighter comes to mind that's known for that? Floyd Money May. Okay? So, the reason why I'm doing this lesson is because, hey man, the spirits in ancient times are back here today, man. Okay? Jeremiah 28. And that was the first example. In verse 8, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. And amen, the prophets back then were prophesying, and the prophets of old are back here today doing the exact same thing on what the prophets of old were doing. Okay? And here it is, we're prophesying, man. Prophesying the downfall and the destruction of this wicked kingdom, which is Babylon the Great, which is America. Okay? And the prophets of old, they are back here today, man. Okay? And I found that very interesting, man. that Greek boxer, man. Okay, he was undefeated, had it amazing stamina. He was known for being a defensive fighter. So he was undefeated and he had amazing stamina and he was known for his defensive fighting skills. So what fighter comes to mind? Come on, man. Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. And amen. We don't know who we are in our past lives, man. Okay? But the spirits back then are back here today, man. If you're a prophet today, more likely you were a prophet in your past lives, man. Okay? If you were a boxer today, hey, you were a gladiator in your past lives. Okay? If you was a singer, dancer, you probably was that in your past lives, man. Okay? There is no new thing under the sun. Okay? Ecclesiastes 12:7. Then shall the dust return to earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto the Most High who gave it. So when you die, man, hey, man, your spirit goes back to the Lord, man. Okay? You go back to the spirit world. Okay? And every third, fourth generation, you come back, man, in a new body, man, but the same spirit, man. Okay? New body, same spirit. Okay? Nothing changes, man. Okay? The spirit remains the same. Okay? So if you were a prophet today, you were a prophet back then. Okay? If you were a boxer today, you were a gladiator back then. Okay? A dancer, singer, you was probably that back then. Okay? And I found it very interesting too, his beard, man. Looks very similar, man. Do gotta say. So that was the first example. Now we got this man right here, which I don't gotta, explain to you who this guy is, man. Okay? He's probably the most talented artist that ever lived, man. Okay? This man, I believe, in his debut album, played over 27 different instruments, man. Not only was he good at it, he mastered it, man. Okay? So here it is. We got Prince. Then we got Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. So here it is, right? Mozart known for. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart is known for being a legendary musical genius, a famous child prodigy, and one of the greatest composers of the classical period, creating over 600 timeless works across every major musical genre of his time. So let me type this in. Let's see what we got. Mozart was one of history's most famous child prodigies. He showed extraordinary musical ability from a very young age. Early talent. Mozart was born in 1756 in Salzburg, then part of the Holy Roman Empire. His father, Leopold Mozart, was a musician and began teaching him when he was about 3 years old. First compositions. By around age 5, Mozart was already composing short pieces of music. How many instruments did he play? So he played the piano, the violin, viola, the organ, clavichord, an early keyboard instrument he used for practice and composition. Now let's go with Prince. How many? I believe it was 27. Yep. Come on, man. It has to be him, man. Now, this is just, my humble opinion, But I believe, hey, man, that this guy right here was him. Okay, reincarnation, man. Okay. Prince was famous as a multi-instrumentalist. He is commonly credited with playing around 27 instruments over the course of his career. Was it his debut album that he played over 27? No, For You was not the album where Prince played all 27. Man, ChatGPT, man. In his debut album. So, yeah, you see, ChatGPT, man, just be on some bullshit, man. Prince played 27 instruments on his 1978 debut album. For you, this impressive feat included guitars, keyboards, synthesizers, and percussion. Did Prince ever play 27 instruments? Yes, Prince was credited with playing 27 instruments. Come on, man, 27 instruments in your debut album, man. Who can say they could do that outside of him? Nobody, man. So this guy right here, Mozart, hey, man. Prince was probably him coming back, man. Okay? It had to be, man. Okay? Because who can play 27 instruments, man? And master it, man? And make that your first debut album? Who can say they can do that, man? This guy was a genius, man. Okay? And the thing is about Prince is, the reason why and this is my humble opinion, the reason why I believe, Prince, if you ask me, he probably could have been bigger if he wasn't in the era where there was already the greatest performer to ever do it, man, which was Michael Jackson. Right? Not to mention Prince, he also had a lot of problems with his record label. Okay, because that song he made Purple Rain, which was a great song. Hey, he doesn't even own that song or album, man. So he owns nothing, and here it is. He was fighting with his record label, man, to the point where, hey, he wanted to do things his own way. Drop a lot of songs, man, which he was doing a lot, man. But at the same time, it was not enough, man. Okay? And again, not to mention, he was in an era where, hey, man, that was Michael Jackson era, man. And there's a video where James Brown brought up MJ and Prince. Okay? Which, if you ask me, MJ and Prince, they had like a rivalry going on. Okay? Now I see why they never did a song together. Because there were like a rivalry going on. Okay? But you already knew that was MJ time to shine, man. Okay? Because basically James Brown passed the torch to Michael, man. Okay, not Prince. When you watch that video with James Brown bringing MJ and Prince on stage, you could just tell, man, that the torch was being passed to Michael, not Prince. And they say the reason why Prince came on stage is because Michael told James to bring him up on stage. Okay? But nevertheless, hey, man, Prince was one of the most talented man that ever lived, man. Okay? And I believe he was Mozart coming back, man. Okay? Same goes with Floyd. Okay? I believe he was that Greek boxer coming back, man. Okay? Prince was a master on the instruments. Mozart, same thing. The Greek boxer, he was undefeated. He was known for his stamina and his defensive ability. Who does that remind you of? Mayweather. Okay? So again, man, Prince, even though, he had a lot of weird stuff, his outfits, he was a wicked jig that was of the world. Okay? Dressing all kinds of weird ways. I believe he has an album where he's basically butt ass naked, man. Okay, Jake was bugged out, but overall, man, the guy was talented, and he's Israelite. Okay, he's still our brother, man. And guess what? In Kingdom, hey, it's gonna be okay because he will be in his right mind. Okay, he already is in his right mind because he's in the spirit world. Okay, he now knows he's an Israelite. Okay, but nevertheless, man, he was one of the most talented man that ever lived, man. And that word talent gets thrown a lot, man. Okay, y'all don't know what talent is until you see talent, man. Real talent. Okay, not this bullshit today, man. It's trash, man. Music today is garbage. Okay, come on, man. 27 instruments was played in his debut album, man. Who can say that they played over 27 instruments in their debut album? Who can say that outside of Prince? Nobody. Okay, nobody. Which, personally, my favorite song was Raspberry Beret. That was a good ass song, man. Okay, and as for Michael, PYT, man, I do like Billie Jean, but I think that song, is played too much, man. Okay, he has better songs, and I think PYT, in my opinion, I think that's his best song, man. Okay, but nevertheless, this is 1 Corinthians 14 verse 32, and the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. Okay, you're a prophet today, you were a prophet back then. Okay, there is no new thing under the sun, man. Okay, and yes, reincarnation is biblical. Okay, a lot of y'all don't believe it, but that just shows you are not spiritual and you don't understand these scriptures, because there are many scriptures that shows you that reincarnation exists, that it is a thing, that it is biblical. Okay, this is Matthew 11 verse 11. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of woman, there hath not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. And if ye will receive it, this is Elijah, which was for to come. So the Lord knew that, hey, John was Elijah coming back. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. So, hey, man, John was Elijah coming back. Okay, reincarnation. The Lord knew that John was Elijah coming back. Okay. Then he had to tell his disciples, man, about that, hey, John was Elijah coming back. Okay. And guess what? Even our Lord, he's been on this earth numerous times. Okay. Adam, Isaac, okay, Mount Melchizedek, King Solomon, okay, then Yahushua, okay, his final form, basically. Okay, so look, man, there's many scriptures that shows and proves that reincarnation exists, man. Okay, John was Elijah coming back. Okay, and hey, if you were a prophet today, you were a prophet back then. If you were a fighter today, you were a gladiator back then. Okay, if you were a singer, dancer, musician today, you was probably that back then, man. Okay, so could it possibly be true? Was Prince Mozart coming back? Okay, was Floyd that Greek boxer coming back? Because hey, man, I show you the examples and what they're known for. Okay, Mozart can play the instruments. Prince can play the instruments, and both of them were playing at these instruments at a young age, man. They master it, right? And who can say they can play 27 instruments, man? In their debut album, who can say that? Nobody outside of this guy right here, man. Okay. You see, Jake was funny, man. Jake bugged out. But hey, man, he was very talented, man. Very talented. Okay. Then you got the Greek boxer. His stamina, his defensive skills, his ability, to avoid getting punched in the face, and he had a undefeated record. What fighter comes to mind, man, that has all those abilities? Floyd Mayweather. Okay, so hey, man, could it possibly be true? Maybe. Okay, because I gave you a lot of examples. Okay, to show you that hey, it could be them coming back, man. Okay, it could be. Okay, so with that, man, I pray this video was edifying. So with that, I say shalom.